Hey guys, Hannah here, Arkansas Potter. We are in my garage. It is not an ideal setup for doing pottery, but it is a beautiful October day, and I thought I would just take advantage of the beautiful weather and do some glazing. So I have some Amaco glazes here. They're not a sponsor or anything. It's just the brand that I use in my classroom with my students. I teach high school ceramics, so I thought I'd make my video showing how to layer glazes to mix them. Here are my pots that I'm going to be glazing. I just have 3 examples here that I did some demos for classes, and I also have some pots that are already glazed so I can just show you what those glazes look like after they're fired. It's important, if you have different cones that your glazes fire to not mix the 2 different cones. Don't put an 05 and a 5 on the same pot, right? That's different temperatures. If a glaze doesn't get to a high enough temperature, it will just come out like that chalk paint, like just a very nasty texture, not glossy, not at all what you were looking for. And if it's a low fire, or you fire it to too high of a temperature, it will bubble and run and burn. I had one student whose pot, they didn't turn it in right. It was a 05, got fired up to a 6, and it came out like charcoal, like burnt charcoal. It was terrible. Fortunately, it wasn't a pot that they were in love with, so it worked out. So I picked out these glazes, trying to get some interesting combinations so that after they're fired, maybe I can show you like how that came out, and hopefully they come out well. So I've got royal blue, and royal blue looks very pretty. It's just this lovely rich blue. It's almost like a, what's the words I'm looking for? Ultramarine. Got a little bit of a purple hue to it. Then I have lilac, which I don't have a sample of. Oh, and I don't have a sample of my white clover either. But the white clover is supposed to like show these reddish lines through it if you have darker clay, but I'm working on something called buncombe white, so it doesn't really do anything except be white. But if it's a little bit translucent, it might be interesting to see how it lightens up the royal blue. Then the lilac, I just wanted to see how that and the royal blue interact, and basically just see how they all interact. So this is a slab mug, and I think I was going to use my low fire glazes on this one. I had to go get some more paintbrushes to use as stirring sticks. You don't want to stir with the brush end of your paintbrush because then all the glaze gets jammed up into the bristles. Whenever you've got something like this that has a lip, you really want to make sure you get glaze on that lip. It can be easy to just paint the walls and forget about it, but if you don't put any glaze there, it won't be there when it's fired. So that's coat 1. Just want to make sure I've covered the whole thing on the inside, and now I'm going to do coat 1 on the outside. I also use some dip glazes personally, and so I'm going to try and mimic how this would look if it was dipped rather than brushed on. Oh, that's weird. Hard to see this white. Okay, that's my first coat of the white clover on the inside and the outside. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my second coat inside. On the inside, I'm just going to use white clover as my main color. Makes a nice liner glaze, or at least I think white does, so it makes sense that it would. Okay, so I've got 2 coats of my white on here, and now I'm gonna start putting the royal blue. The lavender is having to be doctored a little bit. It was too thick, so I'm letting it kind of set up and get to the right texture. I'm gonna put the lavender, I think, like right here, and put the royal blue on the other side. Want to see how it drips, if it drips. So this is my second coat here on this edge of the royal blue. Yeah, royal blue. But over here where I'd already painted the white clover, even though it's still my first coat of royal blue, it's the third coat of glaze. I'm gonna go ahead and do a second coat where it overlaps, just to get the full effect of it blending together, but I won't do like a full third coat there. I gotta wait for that second coat to dry. Okay, my lavender's looking a lot better. I think it's good to go. And I want to have some overlap with the lavender and the royal blue, but since that's still wet, I'm just gonna paint over here where it overlaps the white for now. Oops, guess I'm moving it over there. Now I have 2 coats of every color. Not a lot of white left on the outside of the mug, but I'm okay with that. I've got a lot of white inside, and we'll see if any of this on the rim drips down inside. And if it does, hopefully it looks good. I'm gonna do a third coat because I wanna make sure I get 3 coats everywhere. But wherever the glaze is overlapped, there's really already 4 coats. So I'm not gonna overlap completely. I'm gonna carry the white clover onto the other 2 colors a little bit. And where the lavender and the royal blue overlap, I'm gonna paint over just that seam that I can barely see a little bit, but I don't want to paint so much to paint 6 layers and have the glaze run straight off the pot and ruin a kiln shelf. Okay, let that dry and clean up. Next I want to work on this mug, which has some very fine detail stamped on it. This is a seashell that I used to stamp just texture on it. And I think my plan was to use this turquoise, the rainforest, in the amethyst on that one. Just some nice, bright, fun-looking colors. So these I have samples of. This is a student's work. This is amethyst. It's very opaque. Not necessarily my favorite, but there it is. And this is my sample bowl. So I've got all these different tests on it. This is their turquoise that we're looking at. This is ice. It's one of the most disappointing glazes that I've bought and that my students have used without fail. They're like, oh, that's not what I expected. And then, let's see, rainforest. This very nice dark green. It's just Celadon. Semi-transparent here. Not sure how well you can see how much of a glare I'm getting here. Is that better? So it's got dark areas and light areas because it's semi-transparent. So what I want to do is use some of that rainforest on those delicate textures. You know what? I think I was going to use the ice with this. Use some of the ice and the rainforest on those textures. Use some of the turquoise here. And see what happens if I layer a Celadon over this purple. How that changes the opaqueness of this. I'm gonna put ice right in this area, but I want to finish doing my coats of my other colors because I only have 3 brushes. I'm really running out of daylight. Okay, I am really out of daylight. Sun's almost completely set. So I am going to clean up for tonight, and I think the box is gonna have to wait for another day. On the mug, I'm gonna need to finish glazing with the ice Celadon. And I'm just not going to record that. I'm just going to get it done, and then I'll have you back for the box. Okay, it has been a while since I was filming the last video. I just really haven't had time. My job keeps me very busy, but it also, that weekend was like the last nice weekend. Here in Arkansas, we go straight from summer to winter, so now it's too cold outside to work in my garage, so I'm taking advantage of my classroom workspace. This is the last piece that I'm going to glaze, and I'm going to use these oil spot, saturation gold, and true Celadon. They're just a weird mix of colors. I thought that they might have some very interesting interactions because the oil spot, from the name you can tell, it's got sort of a spotty texture. The saturation gold is more of a matte finish, And the true Celadon, I just wanted to throw something else in there. We'll see what happens.
I can really feel some glaze ingredients stuck on the bottom of this one. Means the color's not going to come out right. See if I can scrape that up. It's just what happens when you let the glazes sit for a while. Okay, I think I just about got it. Spot here and have it overlap with the true Celadon here, and I'll also put the true Celadon over here.
one more coat on these things on the outside. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for this box. Gonna get this loaded. Now it's time for the big reveal portion of this video. Just kidding. This thing isn't even actually plugged in. Ugh. But I did get a new kiln, so that's exciting. But we don't have the outlet or anything set up to actually use it yet. So I actually fired these at school with my student work. But what I did do when I was taking them out of the kiln, I actually was like, without looking. And I grabbed them up and wrapped them in newspaper real quick. So I saw part of them because I had to identify them. But you're gonna get to see my real first impression. So this is the box, these are mugs. This one almost came open, so let's do this one first. There it is. So the gold came out really nice. Let's see, do you need to face this way? All right, I hope that translates well on camera. It came out really well. We've got these sort of dark areas and then we've got the really nice gold sheen. The inside looks really good as well. But now let's get to the part that you're really interested in, right? So let's look at, here's the, what is this, oil spot. That looks the way I expected. I'm really glad I left a very high lip because it definitely dripped a lot. But where it overlaps the gold, I mean, that's not what I want. It's kind of burnt looking, like it got over-fired. It does kind of remind me of the pewter glaze, but it's less shiny. It does have a nice texture though. I don't know. It isn't what I would want. Oh, and look, here is the, what is this? Korean celadon, I think. And where it overlapped, it just does that same thing. It just goes like metallic, but without the gold. Yeah. So disappointing, but it doesn't look bad. So that's awesome. All right. Oop. Lid only fits one direction. No, that's not it. Wait, there. Haha, I know how to use my own pottery. This mug next. All right. Ugh. Okay. Oh, okay. So, first impressions, I don't think I glazed the inside that well. It can be really hard to glaze the inside of stuff when you're brushing it on. It's just got some like runny areas and like areas that don't look like they're coated the same amount. It might also be because I was rushing through the coats, possibly. Oh, but look at this. Can you see this? Right here. Let's see, I'll stay up here in the light. Okay, right here where this Celadon mixed with this color, we've got some nice little like spotting, speckling, which is what I really like about mixing glazes. Here is the ice. It crackled a lot. I wonder why. Okay, so here's more of that teal where it mixed with the purple. Looks kind of like messy, like mixing acrylic on the paper or on the canvas. Where here's that spotting again. I like that. I like the way the Celadon looks over the texture here of the stamp that I did with the seashell. And then here, where the Celadon is over the purple, look at that. That's a really rich, beautiful color. Let's see, try to get it without a glare. It's so shiny. There. All right, can you see that? That's pretty. What else? It didn't run a whole lot, so that's really good. So down at the bottom, I have that stamped texture, and you can really see it under this dark green Celadon. I forget if this is rainforest or jade, but it looks really nice under that, the dark green. But under the ice Celadon, and I've been really disappointed with this ice Celadon in general, I just feel like it's not different enough from clear, you know? It just seems like a clear glaze that you were promised a blue and you got clear. The turquoise here is more see-through or more translucent than I expected. I can see some of the texture here. The purple is definitely opaque, which I knew, and it covered up the texture, the stamping down here. So it just looks like dimples rather than having that beautiful texture that you can see in the Celadon. Overall, not my favorite glaze combination, but the purple, I'm surprised how much I like it with the Celadon. I didn't expect that to be a good pairing. So that's cool. Right here, where the ice and which is also a Celadon and this rainforest overlap, there's a lot of bubbling happening, and I'm not sure why that happened because these should be, since they're both Celadons, they're both the same family, they should be very similar, so I'm surprised that there's any sort of weird texture going on there because I thought that would have been like a non-issue for those two very similar glazes. Interesting. Definitely glad I put the green on the handle. I think it looks best. Third mug, or third pot, second mug. Ta-da! Ooh, very interesting. Okay. Huh, all right. So this one I remember has white clover, it's either royal blue, no, it's gotta be royal blue because I think the, what's the other one? Cobalt. Okay, cobalt I think is the Celadon, so that's the mid-fire. These are the low fire glazes. The other two are mid-fire. So this is the white clover, which is like a semi-translucent white. We have the royal blue and this purple, which I think was lilac. So here, this is where the lilac and the clover are overlapped. And I'm very surprised actually at how little the lilac overtook the white. It's not nearly as strong as I expected. It is pretty in sort of a mottled way. I don't know that I would want it all over my pot, but I like the definite like visual of, oh, these two colors are blending. Definitely glad I put the clover over the handle because it does have that lovely tell around the edges where you can see that it's translucent and see sort of the orange peachy color of the clay underneath. Then the Royal blue here, very nice. This is very consistent for me. It comes out this very rich dark blue every time. And here, where it overlapped with the clover, it came out kind of as expected. It looks a little bit lighter, got a little bit of mottling where you see some white showing through more heavily than other areas. Now here, where the royal blue and the lilac overlap, you really can't see it. The lilac just does not show mixed with the blue. There's just no change. The blue is very powerful and dominant for sure. Inside, we didn't get a lot of running of the blue, or the lilac looks like it may have run a little bit more, but I'm not sure if that's how I brushed it on. Definitely happy with how this came out. I'm not sure that I would repeat this color mix, but it is good to see like how the colors mix together. So in the low fire, I wasn't expecting a lot of movement of the glaze, any drips or runs. In my experience, really limited experience actually, working in low fire glazes in college and with my students, it doesn't move a lot because it doesn't reach as high of temperatures and doesn't stay molten as long. Whereas with high fire, which is what I've been using in my personal work for the past few years, you get a lot of movement, you get a lot of runs and drips. But we've also been working with glazes that are made in the public studio that I use, whereas these are store-bought, right? Because they're selling a polished product that they need to be consistent, whereas in the studio, they're experimenting and finding new colors and testing out glaze recipes. With my mid-fire, I was expecting a little bit more movement. I don't think there was a ton. I think this is pretty much how I painted it on the inside. There's not a lot going on here. It does drip sort of over textures, but you don't get a lot of it. I mean, this is pretty much where I wiped the foot back to. It's not running a lot, which is good. You know, you want to feel safe when you're loading your stuff in your kiln, especially when you're working with the work of 16 or more students. This one, I think, has the most sort of unpredictable outcomes. I mean, I knew that this mix would be interesting. I didn't know that this is the direction it would go. I thought we'd get like a semi-matte rather than, it's even more matte than the gold. And I knew on texture, for some reason, glazes seem to run more on texture, or at least some glazes do, and so I'm really glad that I wiped this back because we do have some sort of heavy dripping here on the oil spot glaze. All right, guys, well, that is it for today.
Little Fritz.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey.
What have you been doing?
I've been editing videos.
Will you react to my glazes?
Yeah, there's a mosquito.
You want to go inside?
No, we'll do it out here, I guess.
Okay.
It's very papery. I like the news style of the glaze that you've put on here, the decoration. It's a little hard to get, you can get a grip, but you can't and I'm worried that any liquid that'll be in here just will, the papery taste and the ink, I don't know about the taste of any, coffee or anything I would put in here.
Gosh.
So, seriously though, I'll open it. Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 colors.
Yep.
Nice. I like the little spirals. I like the decorations that you put on here.
Thank you.
It shows through best on the green.
Yeah.
Oh, you even put them on the handle.
Yeah.
That's
That's
nice.
a seashell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. The handle's well attached.
Yay.
Which is good. I've definitely had mugs that only one was hanging on. This is your box?
Yes.
Ooh, it's very dragon-like. I like that. And metallic. A little bit of amber, I want to say.
Well, it's oil spot.
Oil spot. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the inside. That's nice.
Yeah. That's what is that called? It's a gold.
It's gold.
Yeah.
So it's the same all the way around, or will it only fit one way?
It only fits one way,
Okay.
and the pattern only matches up one way.
Yes. Not that way. That way.
There you go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you see where the glazes overlap?
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very matte.
Yeah.
I like that.
I did not expect that. You
looks-
like it?
Yeah, it feels like burned, so
Yeah.
I would purposefully overlap the glaze like that in certain areas if I ever did this. If you ever did this again.
Yeah.
I like this texture here. It's very dragon-like.
Yeah.
It's very dragon-like. I like that texture.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's not what I was going for, but it works. I guess maybe the colors influence that.
The colors definitely, the gold, bronze, and green.
Yeah. So the other two are mid-fire. This one's low fire.
This feels like low fire. It's very light.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Like the other ones feel like a rock, you know? It's very light.
I guess it has more air left in the clay.
Well, it reminds me of like bisqueware.
Yes.
Like when
Yeah,
bisqueware
'cause it
comes
only-
out, it feels incredibly light.
It only fires to that temperature.
Yeah.
Actually lower.
So whatever chemically happens, I don't know. That's weird. Anyways, I like the traditional mug style here.
So that one I made last year.
Okay.
That's how we did mugs last year. And the other one is how we did mugs this year.
I like that the current mug doesn't have the tail that comes out.
Ah.
Mainly because of the size.
Yeah.
That size, the heavier liquid. I'm gonna rest my pinky there, and I don't know. It feels weird like rubbing on it.
Well, what do you think about the glazes? Because this is a glaze review.
This is a glaze review. Okay, so the glaze. I'm not a fan of this glaze.
Okay,
I'm not
which
a fan.
one? All of it?
Of all of it. Like
Yeah.
this is too. Oh man. This is too on the nose for blue. Like I don't know what like if you even think of oh man, there's this one scene in Smallville
Okay.
where there's a girl that's talking about Henry? Is it Henry Cavill?
I don't remember any character names from Smallville.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But I've only seen it the one. The other camera ran out, so we're going to finish on my phone.
Yeah, so I was saying, it reminds me of this one scene in Smallville where there's just this girl that points out Clark, and she's like, yeah, the boy in the primary colors.
Oh.
In the primary colors. I'm like, yes, like, that blue is just too blue. Like, for me, it looks like a crayon.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily like it.
Okay.
It looks like the glaze is a little bit juvenile. It's very light in these areas and stuff, and so obviously the application wasn't all that great. So this was done by you, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry to be bashing this, but like,
Apparently, my taste in blue is too juvenile, and also I didn't glaze well. Although you saw I did 4 coats.
the thing is, your other work is spectacular. The stuff that you normally do,
Yes.
and that you like to do. So this just being a demonstration mug,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and this is
This is school glaze.
school glaze. It's Amaco glaze, which is good, but it's also like testing to see how the colors mix.
Oh, okay. Well, they don't mix at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see where it overlapped at all with the lavender?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit,
You
yeah.
can see that little sliver of a triangle, but it goes from like bam blue to like, hey, I'm still blue.
What do you think about the lavender and the white clover?
There's white clover on here.
So that's the white color. That's
Okay.
called white clover.
That's
It's a
called
little bit translucent and it's called opalescent.
Okay. I thought it was just clear. I can see now that there's white in here.
Yeah.
See, even on the on the handle, you can see where the pigment or whatever the coloring is very heavy in spots, and so
Yeah.
the clear just kind of comes through. It just seems poorly done, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you brush this on?
Oh yeah, 3
Okay.
coats.
So that's what it is. You brushed it on. Like if this was a dip, it'd probably look completely different and a lot better.
That'd be interesting to test.
Or even a pour.
Yeah.
And especially if the coloring in that glaze is doing that spotting.
Yeah.
If you poured it on, I bet it'd be really, really good.
I feel like the application on this one was decent. The inside of the other mug, that's what I see when the brush application is poor.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm seeing here, though.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's
where it's overlapped.
It's very well defined because it's a darker. It's not white.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
All
you
right.
have a lot more contrast between the bare clay that you can still see coming through there, and the blue.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your feedback. Now I'm going to rethink my life and completely change the outcome of what I thought about these things. Not really though, because it is brush application, and so that's just kind of the way it rolls sometimes. Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and yeah, I'll see you next time.